Nice to meet you, Mark. We're here with Rockin' Rich, Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. All right. Well, Mark, welcome to the show. First of all, we
Thanks,
certainly
guys.
we certainly appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
I've been bugging Richard for a year trying to get you on, man.
Yeah,
We're
no,
happy to have you.
It finally worked.
All right.
Hey, you can hear us, okay, right, Mark?
Yeah, sure can.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, Mark, first of all, I know that you have a lot going on. NFTs, the Mavs, great win yesterday, by the way, dude. That was an
sir.
awesome
Yes,
win,
sir.
dude. Our ball passing right now is just
Yep.
yeah, fantastic. But I wanted to focus on one thing. Healthcare and education are two of the things that sort of piss me off the most, to be honest with you.
Your bear traps.
And,
There's a lot of reason for that. That's not a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, because I was sort of a product of the education system in a way. I couldn't go to college, so here I am, right? But healthcare is the other big one, and that's why, dude. When you're doing this, I'm like, yeah, I want to talk about this, and I love it.
Good.
I love what you're doing. Mark, I remember sending over a media report or a summary over to you a while back, and I think we reached like 1 billion impressions or something that week. It was something ridiculous, and I remember talking to Tamra.
You need to get with it, Mark.
I know, right? Yeah.
Come on,
Reach more
man.
people.
Right
So I remember talking to Tamra about how many people you could reach, right? Because that's a pretty big number. Like, I've never seen a number like that. And, at the same time, I found out that you were doing this and what you were doing. Obviously, we couldn't talk about it, and you're building it up. But Mark, did you ever think that you'd be able to directly affect people like this in such a positive way and impact their lives?
I mean, that was the goal, obviously. We started this more than 3 years ago, so it's not like it just like popped into existence quickly. Great partners with Ryan Klein and Dr. Ashmayaski. I can't even pronounce his name. Dr. Alex. And, he's a rocket scientist. He's literally one of the smartest people I've ever dealt with. And he has a pharmaceutical background. He's a doctor. He's a radiologist. He's a mathematician. It's crazy how insanely smart he is. And so when he came to me with, some ideas on disrupting the pharmacy industry, I was wide open to it. And the more he educated me, the more excited I got about the opportunity to change things.
Wow. Yeah, and Ryan, I know Ryan. Ryan's as good as they come. He's a great cat. So tell me, can you just help me understand and Rocky understand, how does the pharmacy industry work now? When someone buys a drug, like, what's the deal? It's like credit card processing to me. It's so confusing.
Yeah, it's really complicated, and that's what created the opportunity. So typically what happens, there's this thing called pharmacy benefit managers. And what they do is they do deals with insurance companies and hospitals. And they say, look, contract us, and we'll go out there and pick the best drugs and get you the best pricing. And they do. So they'll say, okay, insurance company, take this drug over this drug. And then they'll go to the manufacturer and say, look, if you want to sell to this insurance company, if you want to sell to this hospital, you have to deal with us. And they'll use that to get the best possible pricing from the manufacturer. And in a lot of respects, they'll pass that on to the hospital or the insurance company. But what they also do is they'll complicate everything and get a little greedy, because then they'll go back to the manufacturers of the drugs and say, look, we want you to pay us a rebate. We want you to spiff us some money because we're acting as this great sales organization for you. And if you don't, we're going to go to your competitor. And that's where all the pricing starts to get convoluted, because now they're wanting the manufacturers to set really high list prices to hide the rebates that they're paying out. And they're setting the high list prices for the insurance companies. So insurance companies then, when they can discount it some, can tell patients, well, here's the retail price and we're giving it to you at this discount. But the bigger problem is there's no consistency in all that pricing. And so patients one day might get a drug from a pharmacy that costs $100, and the next day it costs $200, and the next day it costs $50. And so what we said was, we'll create our own pharmacy benefit manager, and we'll take out all the complications. We'll buy it from the manufacturer. We'll sell it directly to patients. And by the way, if insurance companies want to buy from us because it's simpler, they can as well. Or if companies that self-insure or unions, other organizations want to, we'll sell direct to them because, again, it's simpler and cheaper for them. So we said, by taking out all those complications and just marking up our costs 15%, we can have costplusdrugs.com and think really make things better for a lot of patients who otherwise could not afford their medications.
Because right now you don't take insurance, right?
Do not. But in a lot of respects, and let me explain. We don't do that because if you take insurance, just the cost of dealing with the insurance companies jacks up your pricing significantly.
Okay.
And when it's all said and done, not all the time, but a significant percentage of the time, we're cheaper buying directly from us for cash than what your copay would be.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
I looked at the PBM concept, and I practiced law for 25 years, and for a lot of those years I did criminal defense. And I got to tell you, man, it really, the whole PBM concept kind of feels like a hustle. I mean, it sort of
It
seems,
is a hustle.
Yeah, it seems like people it's borderline bribery. I mean, am I seeing that wrong?
I would call it bribery, but let's just say the way I would look at it. Let's pretend there's a doorman for a really hot club, and the club says, "Okay, you're a really good door person, and so we want you to go out there and source all of our liquor for us." And he goes out or she goes out and sources all the liquor, but says to the liquor company, "All right, we're going to set the price for this bottle of vodka that I could buy in any liquor store for $25, we're going to sell it so the bottle service sells it for $250. And if you want to get in so that you can sell to this club that's selling thousands of bottles a year, I'm going to pay you $10 for your bottle of vodka, but you're going to spiff me an extra $100 per bottle just because otherwise I'm going to go to your competition."
Is there?
It's just a spiff. It's a commission.
Right.
But when it comes to people's drugs and the fact that this medication can be the difference between life and death, then it becomes a real problem.
Well, that's where I wanted to get to because you're doing this. Costplusdrugs.com is the name of the website, first of all. And you're doing this at a time when, Mark, everything's going up. Man, I mean, dude, it's like inflation. The cost of everything is just through the roof. So, first of all, I think your timing couldn't be any better, and I think
and plus we're looking to lower prices too. Like this week we announced our first price cuts on 4 drugs. And so, 10%, 20%, 30% price cuts, and we want to do that every week.
Wow.
Dude, these are the kinds of things that this is when Richard first approached me about this show, I was a little bit of a hard sell because I was kind of like, I don't want to talk about a drug company. And then he started explaining it. And this is a game changer. This is going to be people are going to be able to get medication that otherwise would miss a meal, would go without, and now they can get it, man. I mean, you're going to
Exactly. And that's what we're hearing. Like if you go on Twitter and search for Cost Plus Drugs, you're going to see people telling that exact same story, and we're getting emails. "Oh my God, I don't have to choose between food and medication.
Yes.
I don't have to ration my medication." Yep. Yeah, you saw it.
Dude, these are some testimonials. Literally, there was hundreds of them. And, I laughed at the email I sent over to you because I saw some Cuban haters out there that you changed them because you directly
I don't know about that.
Oh, no, you did. Oh, I have them. I have them typed out. And, because they realize that it's not about them or not about you, but it's about how you're impacting an entire industry that needs to be Control-Alt-Deleted, to be honest with you.
It seems like
I'm ready.
It seems like you would have a target on your back right now you're just a pimple, you said, to the industry itself.
Right.
But that's not going to be the case for very long, and I would think that you would have some people that are going to be pissed when they realize that.
No, and that's the case. We're already starting to hear some of that, right? Where, some of the big guys are going to some of our providers and wholesalers, et cetera, and they're not happy. They see the writing on the wall that this literally could change them, and we'll see what happens. And that's one of the reasons I put my name on it, because they know I'm 100% behind it. They know they can't just buy it from me, because having a big PBM by the Mark Cuban Cost Plus Drug Company. It's not the same company unless I'm involved, and they know I'm not going to sell it. And so, I thought it
Wow.
was key to put my name on it to let people know that I'm committed, and that if someone tries to step on us, it's not like Joe Blow PBM, and it's going to be hard to put A and B together.
Right.
If they step on it, they know my name's attached, and I'm going to be mad, and I'm going to do all I can and use my platform as much as I can.
Well, the industry itself, I think it's Medicare and Medicaid Services said that the industry itself is what is it, $559 billion industry, Mark. That's at least that's just what they're calculating, right? And then more than half of all Americans right now are on at least one prescription drug, and I've seen the number up to 62%, right?
Yep.
And drugs right now are, in America across the board on average are 250% plus more than any other nation. I don't understand what's happening here. How did it get so out of control? Why is it like this? Because it doesn't have to be like this.
Because they could. It was easy money.
Yeah.
The government pays a lot. People are going to pay for their medications first before they pay for anything else. And it's like we saw with, the Farmer Bro, where he took Daraprim and just jacked up the price.
Yeah.
Even though it was off patent and the person he bought it from had purposely kept the price low so that people could afford it. It's just, You get some greedy dudes out there, greedy people out there, and this is what we get.
Well, that leads me to my next question is, okay, branded and generic. Can you explain the difference? Because I know the difference when it comes to, the branded being, on the commercials and everybody sees all that. But what is the real difference? Why is one so much more than the other?
Because when you create a drug, you have, I forget the exact time period, 20 years, maybe 10 for some to use it, right?
Okay.
And you have a monopoly. The patent guarantees you, for that period of time, a monopoly on the drug. Nobody else can copy it, and only you can sell it. Once that patent expires, then you can create a generic version of it. Not all drugs, like insulin, you can't just, because it's difficult to manufacture, you have to go through a whole different process because this thing called biosimilars. But, like finasteride, Propecia, right? When it went off of patent for Propecia, the generic name is finasteride. And the price dropped from $30 a month to, I think we sell it for $4.25 a month or something.
Wow.
That pharma boy that was charging $750 for a $13 per pill.
Yeah, Martin
and
Skilly.
Yeah, Scaletti or Scaleri.
Really?
Well, he ended up going to prison, but I read that, and did I read it right that the SEC was who prosecuted him? I know it was a federal.
Yeah, but it was for fraud. It was for fraud with the public company. It had nothing to do with the pricing of the drugs.
That certainly got on their radar. Probably pissed them off too.
That's probably what got him in trouble in the first place.
Yeah, no doubt. So, okay.
Hey, when you're greedy, you're right.
Across the board. So, all right, you've partnered with TruePill. Okay, so what does TruePill do exactly? Like, how are they involved in this?
So what happens is we have a contract with them, and so we buy the inventory, then we ship it to TruePill, and then whenever there's a prescription that needs to be filled, they fill it and send it to the customer.
They have pharmacists on staff then?
They have tons of pharmacists that do all the work. Yep.
So if I go to costplusdrugs.com and I got a question about my Ventolin or my asthma medication, is there somebody that I can actually talk to? Like, is it a texting kind of thing?
Yeah, you can call and email. There's a variety of ways to do it, but honestly, I would tell you to talk to your doctor first. And if you're not sure, go to a local pharmacist. We're not trying to replace local pharmacists. If you have any uncertainty whatsoever and you'd rather talk to a person, go to your local pharmacist, preferably an independent pharmacist. That's all good. We're not here to be the perfect solution for every patient. We're here to be the low cost provider. There are going to be local pharmacies that are going to be able to, talk. You can talk to a person face to face. That's not us. But, if you're getting finasteride, even if it's a cancer drug and you get the same drug all the time, and you've been taking the same drug and you don't take others, you don't have to worry about, interactions, buy from us.
So you're not trying to just come in and take over the market. You've got a very specific profile that you guys are kind
We
of
want to be
targeting.
the low cost provider, period, end of story. because the problem we're trying to solve, and you brought it up earlier, is if someone can't afford their medication, we want to be the way that they can afford their medication.
Wow.
And if you just want to save money, that's great too. But that's the real problem we're trying to solve are the people who have to ration their medications or go without. That's just wrong.
So you guys keep the cost down by like not having fancy doctors put a bunch of blogs on your webs. I mean, how do you keep?
We don't spend a penny on advertising. I just get out there and I pump the hell out of it and promote it as much as I can. Every dollar of advertising is something, that has to come from somewhere else. And so we're not going to have every bell and whistle that other companies are going to have, and that's okay.
Well, now you got two more people pumping costplusdrugs.com.
Yeah. I think this is a crazy concept, man. I can't even believe this hasn't been done already.
I know. So what are the barriers? Like how did you get from wherever you started to here?
You can't be greedy, right? You have to be looking to be the low cost provider. And typically, when somebody starts a business like this, they have investors or they're trying to optimize their earnings. I'm not. I'm not looking to make the most amount of money possible. I'm trying to have the greatest impact possible.
Well, Mark, you know me, I'm in communications, right? I like to simplify everything when it comes to reaching the consumer or reaching, whether it's a user experience or a user interface or whether it's you communicating with somebody or the media. I like to break it down to its very core, and it doesn't really get any simpler than the lowest cost, period.
That's it. That's it, right? Period, end of story. And, we've got 100 and a few drugs right now. We hope to have that to at least 1,000, if not more, by the end of the year. As we get greater volumes and we're able to get our costs lower, we'll immediately pass those on, hopefully on a weekly basis, just like we did yesterday, I think it was, where we lowered the cost of 4 drugs. That's our mission, to be the low-cost provider.
When you mentioned partnered up with businesses that are self-insured. So who would that be? Like, what kind of businesses are those?
Like the Dallas Mavericks, right? The Mavs, when we go to buy medications, we'll check to see what's on costplusdrugs.com. And, if our employee needs whatever it is, then we'll have them buy there first.
I see.
So you set up costplusdrugs.com as a PBC. What's the difference between that? Like in a nonprofit or a regular?
PBC stands for Public Benefit Corporation, and the goal is that there's got to be some public benefit, right? And so, and I don't even know all the tax implications, honestly.
Sure.
It didn't matter. It was just a better opportunity, and since we were trying to work for the public benefit, why not use the PBC designation?
Seemed like a good fit.
So it's basically the same thing as a corporation, except for your primary focus is the benefit or the public
and there's
good.
Some other benefits, and I don't even know exactly what they are, honestly.
Okay.
The lawyer kind of went through them, and it just went, okay, whatever. If it's a little bit better, it's not going to truly affect our mission one way or the other.
Gotcha.
That 15% markup is there so that we can invest in a manufacturing plant like we are in Deep Ellum and be able to push our costing down by investing in better ways of doing things.
So
and adding new drugs.
So I was going to say, okay, when you say adding new drugs, where do you get the drugs now, and where are you going to get them in the future? Because that's a big deal to some folks.
Right. So we buy from manufacturers, approved manufacturers that are FDA approved and that we've researched to make sure they're high quality and consistent. And we're in the process of building a factory in Dallas where, because these are generics, as long as we can make them, we will make them ourselves to try to push the price down even further.
So basically, it's like what do you call that? Compounding pharmacy type of a situation.
Yeah, well, that's effectively what allows us to do it. Yeah.
You must have some regulatory ninjas on your staff, because that sounds
like... Yeah, for sure. I don't pretend to be... Yeah, Alex knows his stuff inside and out. Ryan knows his stuff. We've got, regulatory mavens that are there just to figure all that stuff out. My job is to help make decisions with Alex and Ryan and to try to let everybody know what we're doing.
As the PBC, you don't have a big bunch of shareholders or somebody to answer to that's going to be wanting to know about profits. You get to run the show yourself, right?
Yeah, just me and our employees. That's it. We're the only shareholders.
What kind of drugs are you going to be making here in Deep Ellum?
It'll depend on scarcity factor. Actually, it's more scarcity times volume to see, to determine greatest impact. Where can we have the greatest impact, and can we manufacture it? And if we can, that's what we're going to make.
Old client of mine, they did diabetes. They were I don't know, what do you call it?
Diabetic.
Yeah, diabetic type
Yeah.
stuff. And a lot of
Insulin.
and insulin and that sort of thing. And a lot of their clientele that, honestly, Mark, they just couldn't afford the drugs. They couldn't afford, and
That's the problem.
it was sad. I mean, it was so sad. And a lot of them didn't have
Hopefully,
insurance.
insulin will be one of those drugs we're able to find a manufacturer for and add. It's a little bit more difficult, but obviously, it's very much um, something that impacts 10 million people across the country and far more globally. So, if we're able, that's the number one requested drug. So, if we're able to add insulin, we're certainly going to do it.
Are you a fan of employer provided health care?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's two sides to that coin. It's kind of complicated things. It was, a response to wage freezes, I think back in the 40s or,
World War II.
um, yeah, World War II.
Yeah.
And so, you can make an argument both ways. I think, for people, for many companies, it's a great perk to add. For others, particularly younger people who don't have the insurance needs that someone older may have, I think they'd rather have the money in in the bank account.
It was another client, a dialysis company. You could have had somebody that was, say, a VP for a company, Mark, but they may not have had the best insurance compared to someone who may have been just in sales that worked for a better company with better insurance. The
Sure.
salesperson got more perks and got more stuff paid for through insurance than the VP who actually made a lot of money.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Dude, it didn't
we've
make
got
any
people,
sense.
we have a great insurance program, a super expensive insurance program at the Mavericks. And there's people that, probably could get better jobs elsewhere, but don't want to lose their insurance with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some of those folks.
Mm-hmm.
Good people over there. Okay. What's next for this company? What's your goal? Like at the end of the day, Mark, what's your goal?
Scale, 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 scale. Just, being able to execute to scale. So it's one thing to offer it. It's another thing to go get customers. And it's the most important thing to be able to execute on that so we keep our customers happy. And we're going to go through, a learning curve. We're going to go through growing pains.
Sure.
It's just the reality of building any business. But we've got to get through that. That's first and foremost. And each level we should, reach a, it's kind of like a ladder. You get to the next step, then the next step, then the next step before you get to the top. And we've got to climb our way up the ladder so we're good at what we do.
Is there a way for people to give you feedback? Because I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
If you
you, and
tweet,
you listen. You listen, and I really, really have always appreciated that about you. You on Discord, I see, I see what you do on Discord because a lot of the people that have all these ideas and stuff, and I could see where Mark goes with those, and it's kind of funny actually. But
yeah. Yeah, I'm always listening, right? I
yeah,
mean, some of the best ideas come from your customers or partners.
yeah,
But for Cost Plus Drugs, just tweet toward, or post on social media to Cost Plus Drugs or costplusdrugs.com, either or, and we monitor them continuously. I'm searching all day long and getting alerts because I want to know exactly what people say or think.
wow,
I've seen you or heard you talk about when you're running a company, the difference between having your own manufacturing versus outsourcing. And in this case, it sounds like you've kind of got a hybrid where you're kind of doing both. Is that right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, because we can't manufacture everything just from day one. And so it's a process. We'll work with partners and where it's effective for us to do our own, we will. It's, you're always making these build versus buy decisions. But I think, not only is it good for us to manufacture as much as we can, but I think it's good for the country if we're doing that here in Deep Ellum, right? So the more drugs we can manufacture in this country, the better it is for all of us.
wow. And Alex is the CEO of Cost Plus.
Yeah, Osh Mayaski, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Osh my ass. I always,
We'll
guys-
spell it out for you
yeah.
when we send it out
I
there.
came right back after the Mavs game, so
Well, hey, Mark, I appreciate everything that you're doing, all the things that you're doing that people don't talk about. Like I've heard about it, just because, but
all right.
all the things that you're doing in the community that the media does not pick up on, and I'm one of the first people every time someone says something bad about them, I want to defend them because I know stuff that they don't, and I'm like, dude, if you only knew, if you only knew.
Yeah, it's okay though. I mean, that's not why I do it. I don't care.
Yeah,
but I've been doing this long enough. My skin is thick enough. Whatever.
Part of the territory.
I get satisfaction from doing the right thing when I can.
I know you do, but it still doesn't help me from wanting to defend you. I can tell you that because it's admirable. It is admirable what you're doing. So truly appreciate that. Truly appreciate this. You providing an education, why this is so jacked up and man, dude,
it is cool, and I'm kind of tangled up with the PBM situation because it seems like if you do what you're trying to do and it works,
they go away.
You're gonna have all the PBMs are gonna be looking for work, and the insurance companies are gonna have issues. I mean, this could create a forest fire, dude.
We're a long way away from that, right? That's a long, long, long ways away. But if we can just chip away at the edges and help people and grow it a little bit at a time, that's a good thing.
You don't think they're stressed out about it yet?
No, I'm sure they are, but not stressed out about it, just paying attention, you know?
Right.
It's just, they know we're there. They don't know what we're capable of doing, and either do we yet, to be honest. We have to see what happens.
Right.
Well, hey, if you ever need someone to get the word out, let me know.
Yeah.
We need someone to get the word out, so tell everybody.
We are.
Go to costplusdrugs.com. Let everybody know.
Costplusdrugs.com. I know someone personally who is saving $440 off of your company.
Wow.
Mark. So
That's
month.
awesome.
That's a month, by the way.
Man, that's car payment.
Right. That is a car payment. And okay, to be very candid with you, that's actually why I reached out to you. I knew what you were doing, but I didn't know the effect that it would have because I'm not on, regular prescription drugs. Right. So I didn't really know.
He's kind of a granola tree hugger type.
No,
he's not a.
Dude,
yeah,
that's not true.
You are.
No,
dude.
I'll take him if I need him.
No, you won't.
I will. We have good insurance.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway.
Hey, better live a food diet. Why not? I'm a believer.
So, but that's why I reached out to you, Mark. And so, you are impacting people directly when they need it the most. And, this guy, he makes $80-something thousand a year. So when you $440 a month is, that's a good chunk.
$5,000 is $5,000 no matter how you look at it.
That's right. That is exactly right. So, now I think his drugs now went down to like $25 or $28, something like that a month.
Awesome.
Like we're not talking about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's
real money, yeah.
That's real money. So yeah, keep it up, Mark. If there's anything that I can ever do, just please let me know. I'm here. So
appreciate it, Ricky.
Rocky, anything else?
That's really it, man. I really appreciate you coming on, Mark.
Anything else, Mark?
Thanks, Rocky. Nope, that's it, man. Costplusdrugs.com. Check it out. Tell all your friends.
We'll do it. Mark, thank you. We'll see you later.
Go Mavs.
All right, go Mavs.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you.